In this podcast, chat about the win against Port Vale, injuries again, and we look ahead to West Brom. This is the Boro Breakdown podcast, and this is our Boro Matchday Chatter in a pod.
Support. Curtis Fleming is there on the edge of the area. Fleming for Craig Hignett. Hit it, Higgy. Higgy hits the treble!
Ravanelli coming alive again. Juninho wants the ball played to him. Ravanelli spots out Emerson!
Hello and welcome to the Boro Breakdown podcast with Jonny, Dana and Tom. We're the Boro podcast that gives you all of your Boro Matchday Chatter in a podcast. And Middlesbrough are in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup. And the last time we were in the semi-finals of the Carabao Cup, we won it. It was called the Carling Cup back then, of course. And, you know, it's all aligning, you see. It's all aligning. Our worst start since 03-04, our second worst start this season, you know, and now we're in the semi-finals and we're going to go all the way. But obviously, of course, Johnny Howson scored last night. Morgan Rogers and Matt Crooks helped us get there into the semi-finals. But, you know, more injuries. But Tom, what was your overall assessment of the win yesterday?
I thought we played well, and it was it was a professional job, I would say. At no point in that game did I feel like, you know, this probably isn't going to go our way. It felt more like a pre-season game or like a round one or round two Carabao Cup game with just a few more people there, because like they just never looked threatening. I know I was listening to an interview with their manager Andy Crosby after the game, and he was like, they were playing at a different level. There were times where we couldn't get near the ball and stuff like that. That's genuinely what it felt like. And I was quite taken aback at the fact that there was barely any atmosphere from their fans as well. At least it didn't sound that way over the TV. So Dana, you might be able to kind of shed more light on that. But considering
I didn't hear them once, Tom. I genuinely didn't hear them once.
Yeah, considering on Twitter before the game, I'd seen an ex-player of theirs just saying make it hostile and make it a difficult place to play. They just didn't seem very up for it at all, considering as well it was possibly the best draw they could get in terms of trying to progress. So yeah, it was a bit of a weird one. Like I said, it felt a bit flat, a bit like an early season cup game or a pre-season game, but very happy way through, and also very happy that Newcastle are out, because I definitely didn't want them in the semis.
Yeah, losing on penalties, and you know, another year goes by where they don't win a trophy. Of course, well, they never could win the FA Cup, but they're getting knocked out with Sunderland, aren't they? But in terms of you, Dana, you were there last night. You made the trip to Port Vale. You know, the long trip because of the queue in traffic, you know, the bus shenanigans. Apart from that, how was it?
Yeah, it was, to be honest, I echo Tom there. I thought that they'd be bang up for it, but I suppose they've had a season that is drowned in apathy, really. I know they've picked up a little bit of late, but I was surprised at the lack of atmosphere. The atmosphere in the away end was fantastic. There was some new chants going, including the Bangira one, which is stuck in my head. That just kept going, and it's stuck in my head now. I think it was relatively comfortable. There were periods where Port Vale did look like they were starting to maybe grow in confidence a little bit. They were popping balls down our flanks, but I think Lucas Engel dealt with it really well. Dijksteel had less of a good defensive performance, but still okay, still relatively comfortable. There were just a few moments where I thought that they got past him a little bit too easily, including the chance that they had, the Gavin Massey chance, which, I mean, it was a ball fired in, actually, at an awkward height for him by Chislett, who I thought was probably their best player in the game. But that came just before half-time, and I quite liked how Boro managed the match in the second half from there, because it is a precarious scoreline, 2-0, and especially against a lower league side who have that incentive to get into the the semi-finals, I think it was good that Boro managed the game and the way that they did. And I agree with Tom. I thought it was difficult to get up for that game because Middlesbrough Port Vale is every bit a third round tie, in my opinion. Just it's very rare, I feel, that you have this tie in the quarterfinals, at this stage. So yeah, it felt a little bit strange, but it was good to be in the away end. Conor Ripley was getting some stick, but it was all in good spirits. I think he took to it quite humorously. So all in all, really good. Glad that we're in the semi-finals. It was kind of as comfortable as you could get, perhaps. So all good as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, Boro fans, you're a bunch of shithouses. Doing that to Conor
Well, they're already
Ripley.
on Shithouse Island.
Yeah, they are. They are. It's but you just gotta say what for what it is. Alison, they're a bunch of shithouses last night. But for me, I thought game state really mattered. We got the goal at a good time, and that opened up a lot of space. We took advantage of the mistakes, and it was a good finish from Rodgers to put us two up. And it could have been more in that first half. It really could have been, and then in the second half, it was more of a game management type of performance, and Crooksy going on to score the third one, and it was overall an okay display. I wasn't blown away. I thought we kept the ball really well, and we just did a really professional performance, and I was happy to see us going to the semi-finals. There's obviously I would have liked to maybe play Newcastle in the semis. It's been a while since we have played them, just because it's just been a while. It's been a while, and but they're out again, which is quite funny. And we'll find out who we're playing this evening. Of course, obviously by the time most of the people listen to this, we'll have our draw out already. But it was overall for me. I'm dead happy to be in the semi-finals, and who knows, we might make our way to Wembley way again. But guys, last night, who impressed you at all? There's obviously who's left because we could have had no one there. But Dana, who impressed you last night? Who was good on the eye? Because it's a bit different, is it, watching on TV and then in the stadium, right?
Oh, yeah, especially when you've got a bloody pillar right in your way. I mean, God, pillars in football stadiums in 2023. What is that all about? I mean, to be fair, Everton are in the Premier League and they have pillars in their ground. I think Luton might do too. But, oh, God, get rid of them. Couldn't really see. I mean, the pillar probably won't impress me and making a good few tackles, a good few passes in the half space. But no, I'd probably say Morgan Rogers. I really like, and I've said it before, when Morgan Rogers drives with the ball, when he takes it from deep and he spins beyond his marker and he takes the ball forward. I'm investing stocks in Morgan Rogers because I think that he could be a really good player for us. There's a bit of tav about him where he just needs to develop a little bit further, and at times he's a little bit, I wouldn't quite say Marmite, but there are criticisms aimed at him. But he's got 5 goals and 5 assists this season in all competitions. He's the outright leading goal scorer in the Carabao Cup. He plays well against League One opposition, and he plays okay at times against Championship teams. I think you can see the potential in him. And to be fair, we can't say that he isn't delivering in the present. So I enjoyed his performance. Again, it wasn't perfect. It's not going to be with Rodgers. He's raw and he needs refinement. But I like watching him. So I'd probably say Rodgers and Engel as well. Your 5-star rating signing. Jonny, I thought that defensively very composed and interesting as well. Something that you mentioned, Jonny, on one of the episodes, we had Lucas Engel and Alex Bangura on the left-hand side in that second half, which was a point of note. Maybe we can see that going forward if Sam Greenwood gets injured. I mean, by this rate, he probably will at some point. Someone will breathe on one of our players and get injured. But them two, I think, for me, stood out.
Yeah, I don't want to say give me the Boro job, but saying give me the Boro job. But no, for me, I really like that 2 left backs on the wing because naturally wingers by trade, and I was saying it will give us a nice way of making the pitch a little bit bigger, stretching teams out, and also the cover as well. They're both really comfortable at left back, can switch in between themselves, and they've both got a good delivery in the box as well. So it's something we can definitely test. And it could be one of those things where when your back's against the wall, you've got a load of injuries, and you see something good happen, and then it just stays. That could be one of those things, but obviously I don't think it will. But I thought they both played well last night. And also for me, I thought Rodgers was okay too. And he is a Marmite player. I know people that don't like him at all, and there's some people that love him. And he's becoming that Tav, isn't he? It took people a while to get used to Tav and love him as a player. and I think Rodgers could be exactly the same. But Tom, who impressed you last night then, out of the players that were left?
There were a few. Rodgers, I will start off with. Thought he had a pretty good game. I was expecting it after his previous games in the Carabao Cup, and he didn't disappoint. Matt Clark, I thought, did really well. And there's one bit that kind of sticks in my mind is when he had the ball in defence, and he pretty much did a 180-degree turn of just no, it'd be 360 of those kind of like 90-degree kind of like cut inside things from like FIFA. Just like there was no one pressuring him. He was just kind of like faking a pass and then like turn and fake a pass and turn, and like he did that and played out from the back. I was like, that was so unnecessary. But yeah, he looks to be kind of really kind of finding his feet again within the team, which is great to see. And then lastly, I can put Sammy Silvera in there as well. I was really interested to see how he'd get on yesterday, considering he was starting on the right. And we spoke about it a couple of podcasts ago, saying could he kind of fill in there, do a similar job to what Jones has done, be a little bit more direct and focus on, chance creation rather than shooting yourself. And yeah, he's came away with an assist from that. And I mean, dare I say, like him and Morgan Rodgers seem to be building up a bit of a connection up front. So yeah, that was really good to see. I wouldn't mind seeing Silvera playing on the right a little bit more at times if we need him, just kind of based on that, and take him away from being kind of inverted on the left and being able to cut inside and shoot. I thought he did well last night.
Yeah, I like Silvera on the right as well. I like him when he's just driving at plays, and it was something that we heard a little bit on in our player preview. Was it player preview show? What was it called? Lowdown shows. Our lowdown shows. Yeah, and we were saying he likes to get him, be aggressive, get the ball back to centre forward. And hopefully we see more of it. And you never know, we might, because Boro had more injuries last night, and that was kind of the big takeout, because Rav van den Berg missed out with a sore back. Went off at half-time with a hamstring injury. Isaiah Jones only lasted 20 minutes and then went off again with a hamstring niggle. Morgan Rodgers got absolutely rock bottomed on the pitch. And then Matt Crooks also came off with a knock as well. So that leaves us with 14 players out, and obviously Senny Dieng in goal, Rav van den Berg left back, McNair, Lenihan and Smith, Hackney, O'Brien in midfield, Force on the right, Crooks, McGree and Lattilaf up top. And if you wanted to have three subs, Jones, Rodgers and Coburn, to try and change the game. And only at that 14 players, but the injury crisis has presented opportunities. When you have all these injuries in the squad, you've seen Callum Kavanagh come on yesterday. Lauren McCabe also featured as well. But Tom, injury-wise, can it get any worse?
Yes.
Thank you. Moving on.
Of course it can. Yeah, we could lose more players. Not that we've got that many left to lose, but yeah, I was just looking at that graphic there. I was like, what I wouldn't give for that to be a starting 11 in the next game, just because that looks better than what we've had to start with recently.
Yeah, all I can think about is that Mick McCarthy video. I'm just going, it can. That's all I can think about, and it can get worse. They are falling like flies, and it's just a shame because we've got such a good squad and we have the quality there, but injuries just really do affect it, don't they?
Well,
and
people will still dispute the claim that has an effect on Boro's season. Like, I don't get it. You look at that team, and that team is a very good team within its own right. So is it really any surprise that Boro are inconsistent because they've got this amount of injuries out? Like, obviously there was a period where we had injuries and we were fine, but then that's going to take its toll, especially around the Christmas period. So yeah, it obviously does make an impact.
That team on the graphic, that's pretty much like a first choice team for us. Like, I mean, it probably goes a little way to show how good a job everyone's doing at the moment, that we are where we are in the league, and we're pretty much having to play our second string team.
Yeah, and I just want to pull it quickly back up again, because if you put Engel in there, what and who actually makes the team? Do you know what I mean? Bar like Engel, like that is pretty much Boro's, I would say, arguably one of the strongest 11s we can put out. If you maybe wanted to put McGree in the centre, maybe, and put Greenwood on the left, I don't know.
I think
But
that's better than the team that we're, well,
yeah,
infinitely better than the team that we're starting now. Obviously, Rav van den Berg on the left is not a left back, but needs must for this point. But yeah, that team, that 11 is a very good 11. And
yeah,
it's no surprise that Boro are kind of faltering a little bit because a lot of those players, well, all of those players are out.
absolutely. But like I said, then there's opportunities arise. Obviously, Callum Kavanagh came on, had a chance, of course, nearly scored. Lauren
Should have
McCabe
scored.
came on for 20 minutes as well. When I watched it back, so this is interesting because in the ground he should have scored. When I was watching it at home, it looked like the ball was just a bit too quick for him, and it came just above his shin, so he couldn't get over it. But hey,
I mean, I would have missed it,
this
so
is
who am I to say?
oh well, I didn't want to say that, but I mean, here we are. So
I will.
anyway, how do you think that those two academy graduates fared?
I really like the look of Law McCabe. I will say that. I don't think he looked overawed by the fact that he was playing in a Carabao Cup quarterfinal at all. I think he showed some good touches. Kavanagh, I think, it was Kavanagh's debut. Law McCabe had the cameo against Preston, didn't he, where he came on off the bench. But Kavanagh did look a little bit overawed. I think his touch eluded him a few times. I thought he should have scored that chance. So I don't know. I have watched it back, but I haven't like properly rawly analysed it and slowed it down as everyone does. So I don't know. Maybe you're right there, Jonny, and I'll probably trust you on that judgment. But I thought they looked bright, and this is the thing with the injury crisis. It does present an opportunity for those players, and Carrick is not afraid to put the youngsters in there, and that's one thing that I really like. And I think Boro fans also like that because they want to see the youngsters get an opportunity. The amount of comments that we get on our Facebook page saying, "Oh, why isn't he playing the kids?" that we've seen that since we started this podcast. So I appreciate that Carrick does give them an opportunity, and I think McCabe's another one I'm going to invest stocks in. I think he could be a really good player. Obviously, fleeting moments in the game, but within them, I thought that he looked confident and assured, and he played a lovely ball out to the left hand side from Engel, the type of ball that I thought that Dan Barlasser would play. So little moments here and there that I'm thinking, you're highly rated for a reason. He's in England under, was it 18? I think it's 18 international. So hopefully he could continue his development and we could see more of him amid this injury crisis, because I must admit he does look good.
Yeah. Tom, obviously there's a player on the bench who's been featuring every now and again, and Alex Gilbert or Alain Gilbert, if he's having a good game. Were you surprised that he probably didn't come on yesterday? I mean, given that the scoreline, how confident Boro were, and it's felt like a game where you could give him a bit more minutes.
Maybe, but also the rate everyone's getting injured, he'd probably end up being the next one, and we wouldn't even have him on the bench for the next game. And then, the people who, say on Facebook and on BBC T is going, "Oh, play the kids" and stuff like that, they'll actually get the wish soon, because we're going into New Year with the under-18 squad and the way the injury crisis is going. So, but the thing was as well, at 3-0 up, you may as well give Kavanagh and McCabe a run out. It didn't look like the game was going to go any other way at that point. Alex Gilbert, or whatever you want to call him, has had senior football in the Championship. So you may as well give people like Law McCabe or Kavanagh, or there was a couple of others on the bench as well who I thought could have potentially came on as well. May as well give them a first kind of taste of senior football and kind of help bring them through a little bit.
Yeah, and minutes really do matter at that age, don't they? And to get them on loan, hopefully the second half of the season would be superb if we can, especially if we can get those players back. I think Alex Gilbert's gone out on loan from January. I think it's just nailed on. If you didn't want to risk him there, I think he's got a loan. And look, it's not saying that he's a bad player. He could be a really big talent that we've got on our hands. But I know he's versatile. But it just feels like the injuries that we've had haven't really affected the position that he would probably most flourish in. So it's a bit unfortunate on that aspect, but I think he's going out on loan. I really do. I really, really do. I'd be shocked if he stayed. But, we've got him on a 4-year deal. There's plenty of time for him to develop, and I think he will develop really well. And I also think that Kavanagh and McKay will go out on loan as well, probably in the January window too. But to round it off, we are obviously in the semis now. Can we go all the way Yahweh, Tom? Do you think it's an opportunity for Boro to get to a final of a cup competition?
No. I don't know who we're getting tonight. My personal choice would be Liverpool, and I've got like a little bit of thinking behind that. They're also going to be missing players. I don't know if they have more than one African player, but I'm sure Salah will be off to the AFCON, as well as Dieng for us. They'll have Europa League, FA Cup, the top of the Premier League. So there's a chance they might not prioritise the AFL Cup. They might, in the semi-finals, put a few more of the kids out, which will work great for us because that's what we have to do. And yeah, hopefully it just works like a Youth Cup semi-final or something, and we get the better of them. I feel like Fulham will be looking at this. If they got Boro in the semi-final, just like, mint, this is a great opportunity to get to the final. Same with West Ham. And I don't think I've ever seen us beat Chelsea. Like, I think I've seen us draw with them a couple of times, but the times we beat them, I didn't have my season ticket, or like I couldn't go for whatever reason. And I'm thinking back there. I'm sure it's like 2006 or something the last time we beat them. So I really don't want Chelsea. Out of the ones that are there, I prefer Liverpool. But I don't think any of them represent a really good chance of going all the way.
Yeah, and Chelsea, it was under McLaren, we beat them 3-0, and then under Southgate, we beat them 2-1. And so
Pogatetz scored that night, didn't he?
I believe so, yeah. And the 3-0 one, I think it was, I want to say Viduka, Hasselbank, and I feel like I'm missing.
Rockenbach.
Or is it Mendieta? Maybe one for the old Google search.
Rockenbach was definitely one of the ones in the 3-0, because I got a text off my dad that day saying, "Oh my God, Rockenbach's just scored," and I was like, "You what? You're joking?" Because he's the amount of times I've seen Rockenbach try his shot and it's just hit the back of the stand, and like he scored against Chelsea.
Just hit someone with a pie, just going like it's hit the deck.
It was Rockenbach, Stewie Downing, and Yakubu. 3-0 in 2006.
Way off. So where was the 2-1 then? Anyway, doesn't matter. Yeah, well, it's a matter, innit? You know it is. But then, can Boro go all the way? And who would you like in the old semi-final?
I would like Liverpool as well. I don't know why. I don't know whether it's the FCAs, the good juju coming to me from our win at the FCAs. Good juju, good karma.
Right, okay.
I don't know whether that's just hitting me, but I don't know. The last time that we played Liverpool in the cup, it was that never-ending shootout, and I kind of want revenge of that. That was a fantastic game to be in the away end to see. I think you were there as well, Jonny, but I didn't know who the hell you were back then. But it was a very, very good night, and I would quite like that. But as for, do I think Boro can go all the way? Probably not. Let's be honest. We've had a favourable run to this point. Johnny Howson even said it in his post-match interview yesterday. So this is the first proper test that we will have. Is it likely that we'll get past them? No. My dad was saying, "Oh, I want Everton." And I was like, "Why do you want Everton? They've got that siege mentality with that points deduction." Anyway, redundant because they got knocked out. And so I think Fulham, out of the teams left, they're the ones that you look at and you think, could we have a chance against those? But even them, they've got better players than us. So it's as simple as that, really. I'm not expecting us to get through, but is it a little bit of a free hit? Is that the cliche that we're going to pull out the bag for this? I think it's a big incentive for us. So why not try and see if you can get the whole of Teesside behind Middlesbrough and roar us into the final? I mean, amazing. That would be an incredible achievement to get there. So I don't think we will, but dare to dream.
Yeah, that's fair enough. For me, I want this to play out. So obviously, if we get Liverpool, and we beat them, for example, so we beat Liverpool, got to the final. I want us to play Chelsea, and I want us to get revenge for 1998. We got beat 2-0 in the League Cup final. And that'll be very bittersweet. Probably full circle and a lot of closure for a lot of people. That if we were to do that, and I believe we were in the Championship then in 1998 as well. When we got to the final too. I'll have to fact check me as well because I feel that was correct. I do think we definitely got beat 2-0 and we were in the Championship. So who knows? If we actually win it this time, then you might have to get a Google on in the next segment. But who knows? We could do that. But let's move on while you search for that, Dana. Let's go and speak to Chris from Albion Analysis because we do have a league game on Saturday against West Brom, with the Baggies are 5th in the Championship table. But to find out a little bit more, we spoke to Chris from Albion Analysis.
Chris Hall here from Albion Analysis, looking ahead to Boro v Albion on Saturday, the last game before Christmas. And in terms of our season so far, going into the Christmas and New Year period, we're feeling pretty good about life, to be honest with you. I don't think at the start of the season anybody connected with the club expected this season to go this well. We're a mess behind the scenes. We're really hoping to have a new owner in the new year because the current one has made a complete mess of things, taken money out for himself, not put it back in. And pretty much every player was up for sale in the summer. There was a lot of rumours about players going. Brandon Thomas Asante linked to Stoke. Grady Diangana linked to just about everybody. John Swift linked to Coventry. Palmer linked to Luton. And to be honest, in the end, the only one who went was Dar O'Shea, and we ended up with most of the squad that we had the season before, barring our centre-half and captain and a few players we'd let go on freeze. Corbrand's just an unbelievable manager. He's managed to knit us together into a really well-oiled machine, and we're in the top 6. We've got no depth to the squad, really, and we're suffering a few injuries at the moment. So we're stretched. There's no two ways about that. In terms of how we set up, I mean, we're just unbelievably organised. We're probably a little bit the opposite to Michael Carrick's Boro, to be honest with you, because we won't come out and play. We want teams to come on to us. We want teams to come out of their shape, and we want teams to leave space in behind them, and we can break on them. We will set up very solid. We will be excellent out of possession. We'll get back into shape very quickly. And to be honest, it's probably why Corbrand has had a little bit of success against Michael Carrick's Boro. Obviously, we've won the 2 home games that we've played against you guys. We haven't played you at your place since Corbrand took charge, so might be a very different game in the northeast to what it's been in the Midlands. But our 2 wins against Boro in the Midlands have been 2 of our best performances under Corbrand, and I think part of that is down to the fact that Carrick will never change the way he plays. He's always going to come out and be pretty free-flowing, pretty attacking. He's going to try and grab games by the scruff of the neck, and actually they're the games we tend to do the best in. First team to beat Ipswich this season. We matched Leicester for long periods. We beat Hull, who've gone and done good things against pretty much everybody else. And the games where we struggle against the teams that really don't come and have a go, we've kind of sneaked past people like Rotherham and Cardiff, and ended up getting a draw against Stoke the other week. We got a 1-0 win against Sheffield Wednesday, which was hard-earned, but we really kind of labour to those games against the teams that want to sit in against us, but we kind of slightly relish the ones where against teams that want to actually come and play. So obviously from my point of view, I'm hoping that that's the case with Boro this weekend, although, absolute respect to you, you're a good side, and I think the league position that you have doesn't reflect how well you've been playing at times, and also how good your squad is. In terms of Albion's strengths and weaknesses, I think we've largely covered our strength. We're very organised. We've got a great coach who will set us up extremely well. We have got that little bit of X factor in terms of our quality as well. People like Jed Wallace obviously crashed in a great free kick against Rotherham. Grady Diangana and Jeremy Sarmiento are 2 players that can generate that little bit of magic out of nothing. John Swift obviously has got that creative ability as well, although he was injured for the last game, so it remains to be seen whether he's fit enough to face you guys. And in terms of players to watch out for, I mean, like I say, our X factors are the likes of Dean Garner and Jeremy Sarmiento. Jed Wallace, I think, has been excellent in recent weeks. He was definitely the best player on the park against Stoke. Swift, if he plays, is always going to be a threat. But I mean, you're not really one to watch because you wouldn't ever sit there and just watch a centre back. But our stars at the moment have been our centre backs, Kipre and Bartley. I can't imagine your fans are going to sit there and admire two centre halves for 90 minutes, but they've been our absolute stars. And okay, Koslu in front of them is just a massive player for us. So I think our defensive players are real strengths for us. And our only major weakness at the moment is our expanding injury list. You know, we're without Maja, we're without DK still. We're likely to lose Dean Garner, Brandon Thomas Asante, Shemi Ajayi to the African Cup of Nations, although that doesn't affect us this weekend. So I think just the sheer volume of games that players are having to play at the moment and the lack of rotation might lead to a bit of tiredness. In terms of prediction, I don't know. It's a difficult one. It's always difficult with Albion because with Albion, it's massive who gets the first goal. I think if you guys go and get the first goal, I think you'll probably win the game. But I think we'll score. So I think I'd predict you to win it 2-1. But I think if we get the first goal, you'll come at us so much that you'll leave a bit of space and we'll go on and maybe win 3-1, I would say, perhaps, because I think you'll leave enough space for us to get goals. Definitely both teams to score, I think, looks nailed on for this one for me. I can't see both teams not registering because we'll look to attack you on the transition and you've got enough quality to cause us problems. But yeah, I think it's an interesting one, and I'm not going to say which of those two predictions I'm going with. I'm just simply going to say whoever scores first wins this one.
Thank you very much for that, Chris. And yeah, just to go back and to confirm my prediction, if we had Liverpool in the semi-final and then we went and played Chelsea, of course, that actually emulates 1998 where Boro did beat Liverpool over 2 legs. I remember Paul Merson scoring. Of course, as soon as I seen the fixture, I was like, Paul Merson, blue kit. He scored at Anfield 1-2-1. Sorry, 1-2-1 at the Riverside. I think it was Marco Branca as well. Who scored at the Riverside on that night as well. At the Riverside. So let's do predictions for West Brom. Dana, you could go first on this one. What's your prediction against West Brom? A very tough game, of course.
Yeah, it always seems to be against Carlos Corberán's sides. That semi-final, by the way, in 1998, there was a really good man-marking job on Steve McManaman from Steve Baker. So if that happens again and we do get Liverpool, hopefully someone's man-marking someone and emulates Steve Baker as well.
Who can be our Steve Baker? That's what I want to know.
Howson. I think Jonny Howson has it in him. And by the way, shout out to Jonny Howson because he's the only player, the oldest player in the team. Actually. Well, yeah, I'm not.
Shout out for being the oldest player in the team. Well done, Jonny.
Well, congratulations, Jonny. We'll bring the candles in the post.
Thanks, guys.
For being over 30.
But back to West Brom, the preview. I was looking at Carlos Corberán's record against Middlesbrough, and he's played against us 6 times, won 4 of them, drawn none, and lost just 2. So he's got a good record. He's only got a better record against QPR, so not surprised about that. I am going to go with that we will score the first goal and that we will win the game. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Middlesbrough. Also, big lol at Chris talking about their injury crisis whilst we pulled up that full 11 graphic of players that we have out. It's crazy, isn't it? It's 2 teams that are ravaged with injuries, one more so than the other.
I know. Oh, well, it can get worse for us both. But in terms of score prediction, I think I will go with a 1-1 draw. I'll take a 1-1 draw. Just please don't get beat. And Tom, what are you going to go for your score prediction before I round things off?
Yeah, I'm not very optimistic with my prediction. I'm going to go 2-0 West Brom and just see it happening.
And 2-0 West Brom. Not very optimistic, Tom, this week. But that's it, guys. Thank you very much for joining me, as always, and to the listeners and the viewers. Thank you very much for watching and listening to us as well. A big moment for us, over 2,000 subscribers on YouTube. But we're not stopping there. So if you're not subscribed, do give us a subscription on YouTube, and also don't forget to subscribe on your podcast provider and give us a 5-star rating. That helps us get found and all that kind of fun stuff. We're very close to 500 5-star reviews on Spotify, and I want to hit that. So help us do that. But for right now, Boro play the Baggies, and we're depleted, we're injured, but at least we're in the semis. This has been the Boro Breakdown podcast, and that was a Boro Match Day chatter in a pod. Up the Boro Breakdown.